The minority leader of the House of Representatives, Right Honorable Kingsley Chinda, in an interface with the National Assembly New Media, has disclosed plans of the Minority Caucus agenda. Says though they support the removal of subsidy, expressed need to cushion the effect of the subsidy and hopes the long-term program the government promises be fulfilled. He says they are preparing as opposition party and it will not be noise without action.
Assembly minority leadership, we sat down and looked at it critically and decided that minority position should be one that should act not just as a watchdog, but also provide credible alternatives. And then it should be a group of persons that are deep thinkers. And whatever we do, our interest should be the interest of Nigeria first and foremost, not our personal interest, not for purposes of popularity, not for party interest. And so we have also come up with what we call our Minority Caucus agenda, which is a guide to us on what kind of opposition we should present before the House. You are all aware that even after the elections, up till recently, members of the National Assembly were still litigating. A lot of members were in court. After that, they appealed. So that has made it a little bit difficult for us to take off fully. But I can tell you clearly, part of our vision and mission, part of our program is even what we are doing this morning. We expect that quarterly we'll have a roundtable with eggheads in the country, the best brains in every field, in every area, that will make their contribution in governance and then guide us with facts and figures with which we can present credible opposition on the floor of the House.
Responding to the sectorial engagement, Honorable Chinda expressed satisfaction in the response of the service chiefs, shed more light on the bill he sponsored on local content, says it will be difficult to develop local industries if steel sector is not developed. He reiterated the need to improve on patronage of local content. Honorable Chinda further expressed need to explore other sectors outside oil, stating poverty as the reason behind increased crime in the country.
The engagement with the service chiefs, you saw how deep the questions were, how free people were allowed to clearly express themselves, and because we know that that's the security sector, it's a very delicate part of our government and our society. And that's why we had to go into an executive section for them to tell us truly what is happening. Because every week we have not less than 2-3 motions on security on the floor of the parliament. And every week we observe 1 minute of silence for those who have been killed, who ordinarily would have been alive today. And so we are worried with that. That's why we had to take them on very deep issues, which we cannot throw open to the public. But I will tell you that it was very successful. Some of the answers were satisfactory. The areas that we disagreed, we also made them understand that for this, we don't agree. And again, as opposition, we also threw alternatives at them. And timelines were given for these things to be achieved. And I believe that if we continue with this kind of engagement, there will be a difference. The service chiefs will actually understand that Nigerians are interested in what is happening. And the next time they will come to the House for further engagement, we expect them to tell us the report. As at the last time, this was where we were. And today, let me start with the Ajokuta. Truly, it will be difficult for us to develop without developing the steel sector, because every infrastructure will depend heavily on steel. And so as long as we continue to import steel, it will be difficult to develop local industries. Car manufacturing industries, several aspects of construction, you require steel. And so attention will be given to that sector very strongly, as much as attention will be given to power. Now, back to the bill. I pray that that bill sees the light of day and quickly. Why I say so is because good things are always difficult to bat. There will be so much opposition, so much argument, I know that at a time, issues of maybe tribe, religion, and all that will come to play. Particularly, those that will be affected are big players in our economy. If you look at the oil sector today, some of the oil companies are beginning to backtrack. Why? The local content is bringing in our locals into that field. Nigerians are beginning to participate. They are beginning to be big players in the oil sector because of the Local Content Act. Now, what we are saying in that bill is that the gains we have made in the oil sector, there is need for us to start early to make the same gain in other sectors. ICT, agriculture, construction, and every facet of our economy. Encourage Nigerians to be big players in these sectors, not just to import both manpower, both technology, and even the hardware and software. If we say a percentage of this must be localized or ABC must be given to locals, it means that we begin to develop our local capacity from day one. Take the mining that is going on in some parts of the northern Nigeria today. If we develop the mining sector in this country, I'm sure that very soon we'll forget that we had oil. Because you have precious stones that are more valuable than oil, that will fetch the country more money than oil.
Speaking in agreement with the former President Goodluck Jonathan's call to scrap the off-cycle election, Honorable Chinda disclosed the bill the House is processing to unify the entire system. He says the interest of Nigerians should be paramount. Comfort
Passed into law. And my prayer is, once it is passed and implementation starts, we will see massive development in the country. We will also see issues of employment generation. We will see, the crisis we have today, the security issues and all that. To me, part of the reasons is that people are unemployed. People are hungry. It's poverty that leads to some of these crises. But if you provide proper avenue for people to generate money, I don't think that anybody will want to go into crime if you have opportunity of making money legitimately. And so that is one of the things that this bill will do for this country. However, it will be open to public hearing where Nigerians will make their contribution, dissect it, cross the T's, dot the I's where necessary. So I just pray that we fast track it.
Thank you. Pastor.
Okay, thank you, distinguished. Please permit me to take you outside the parliament a bit. As we all know, the election in Kogi, Imo, and Bayelsa have just been conducted. And going by the report, we can say that the election was marked by manipulation, violence, and all manner of things. And recently, the former President Goodluck Jonathan actually was calling for the scrapping of off-cycle election. So what will be your take on that call?
It's follow up to me.
And
And also, just yesterday, the former president of Nigeria, Olusegun Obasanjo, said that from all indications, democracy is not working in Africa. That democracy we are practicing in Africa is important, and there's a need to scrap it. And going by your advocacies in the past, where you always say that democracy is one thing that you politicians must stand by at all times, do you think Obasanjo is saying the right thing at this time?
Well, let me start with the off-cycle elections. There is already a bill that we are processing to unify the entire system. So I agree with former President Jonathan 100%. Even before he made that pronouncement, we're already crafting a bill. The off-cycle election has not been helpful to us. If you look at it critically, it is just for the benefit of the individual involved, not just the larger society. You have a situation where you begin to plan for election almost all year round. And if we continue that way, Nigeria will continue to be in election in the 4 years, because we expect that we'll have more off-cycle elections as elections are being nullified by the judiciary and fresh elections conducted. In some other climes, even in Nigeria today, the legislature, we have elections being conducted same day, same time. Yet, some of us come at different times. Yesterday, some people were sworn in. So if we go by that trend, what it means is that their own election will come after ours that came in first. So I think that the proper thing for us to do is both the legislature, both the executive, at any point in time that you are sworn in, at the end of the tenure, everybody goes and the election is conducted. So I agree with President Jonathan that there is need for us to look inwards. Let's look at the country first, which I have said from the beginning, the interest of the country, interest of Nigerian public. Let us completely scrap off-cycle election. It is 4-year tenure. At the end of the 4 years, you go back for fresh election, whether you have stayed in office for 1 day, just like you have in the legislature. There are people who came in close to end of tenure, and they went back for election after a short while. So the same should apply to the executive arm. I don't see why it should not apply. So we're working on that deal. Now, back to the issue of democracy. I believe, and I still say so, until I have a stronger reason to change my opinion, that the worst democracy is better than the best military government.
He says the interest of Nigerians should be paramount. Comfort Olayinka, DCTV News.